lot of politicians that could be a heck of a lot better. And the reason it's not is because we've tended to let all this personal stuff influence us. And that's all the media talks about. So you all need to grow up as voters and say, enough, enough. Romney, Obama. I don't care what religion Romney is. I don't care what religion Obama is. I don't care what Romney did in high school. I don't care what Obama did in college. I want to know what you're going to do about this. Americans aren't working. Our economy's not growing. We have a government that's broke. And we have a healthcare system that's about to go bankrupt. Just tell me what you're going to do about that. But that's up to us to grow up. Now, on Illinois in particular, we have a problem in Illinois. Again, Tammy didn't answer this question in the debate. I won't be afraid to answer it. Illinois is a joke, and I love Illinois. So before you take me on that, I love Illinois. I love this state. But I am tired of this state being a laughingstock. This is one of the most unfriendly business states in the country. We have productive people leaving this state every 9 minutes. We have businesses trying to get out of this state. We have a governor that has spent $550 million of your money bribing companies to stay. We have the worst credit rating in the country. We have the biggest pension problem in the country. We have Medicaid that's about to just kill us. You want to know where America's going? Look at Illinois right now. The reason Illinois is such a mess, a lot of reasons, but we basically have one-party rule. Democrats run Illinois. To be more specific, one man runs Illinois. His name is Mike Madigan. Governor Quinn is a tool. He doesn't even count. Mike Madigan runs Illinois. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat. No one should ever be king. And Mike Madigan is king of Illinois. That's a shame. When you have one-party rule, eventually you're going to have corruption.
And everybody has term limits every election.
Well, I'll tell you what. I'm a term limit guy. I made a term limit pledge that I'm going to live by. I introduced a bill last year that said we're all held to 6 years in the House. I got 9 people of my colleagues to sign that bill.
Every election is a term limit opportunity. We don't need that law, I don't think.
I used to feel that way, I don't anymore, but I respect the opinion. If I'm a voter, I don't vote for anybody that's been there a long time. I wouldn't. I'd say I respect your service, but come home and get a job like the rest of us, Republican or Democrat. And I would not vote for anybody that doesn't look you in the eyes and say, Miss Voter, I don't want to go to Washington for life. I'm going to go there for 6 years, I'm going to do my best, and then I'm going to come home. That's who I want to vote for. This job isn't easy. It wasn't easy to say no to my health care package because it was a good one. Congressmen have really good health packages. It wasn't easy to turn down my pension. They get a great pension. But you know what? I wanted to be a living, breathing example of a simple, regular guy that could go there and do right. Period. Because we have lost faith in our elected officials. With good reason. Right?
Yes.
They go there forever, they enrich themselves, they think they're kings and queens. We can't do that anymore. Yes, ma'am.
What are your thoughts on getting rid of fraud in our entitlement program, Social Security, disability, Medicaid?
It's rampant.
Can you repeat the question?
The issue is fraud and waste in our Medicare and our entitlement programs. What was it, a couple weeks ago? Huge Medicare bust. Yeah. 107 Medicare investigation fraud. 107 doctors and nurses were arrested. $540 million in Medicare fraud. A big ring where doctors and nurses were fraudulently getting reimbursed and putting in claims when they weren't there. There is a huge amount of waste and fraud in Medicare, in all our entitlements, in everything government does. You remember GSA, the General Services Administration, a month or two ago? A big $800,000 Las Vegas conference? $800,000, not a lot of money. You know what, it is a lot of money, and Barb, it's your money. Big or small, we've got people in government, bureaucrats, who just no longer think it's your money. And that enables them to abuse it. So, absolutely, we need to stay on top of it. Congress needs to investigate it. Congress needs to root out all the fraud. Huge amount of fraud on an annual basis. Got to be done. We got to have the will to do it. It's not easy to do. But even if you did all of that, you got rid of all the fraud, waste, and abuse that every politician talks about, you will not change the road to bankruptcy that we're on. Folks, here's the deal. Here's the deal. Disagree with me if you want. But until the country grows up and answers this question, we're done. We have 10,000 people in this country. 10,000, hold on, put your hand down. 10,000 people in this country retiring every day. Going on to Medicare and Social Security and Medicaid every day. And here's the beautiful thing. They're not going on for a year or two. Because of advances in technology and our health care and our ways of life, these 10,000 people retiring every day are living until they're 92, not 62. Great stuff, right? But how are we going to pay for it? And that's what your politicians have not had the courage to deal with. Look at what happened this year. Remember? 10,000 retiring a day. They're living for 30 years. Way back in the day, remember when Social Security started? Nobody was around. You might have been around. But when Social Security started, how many workers supported every retiree? Huh? About 30, 32? 30 to 32 workers supported every retiree. You know what we're down to now?
1.5.
2. Right now we've got 2 workers supporting every retiree. And by the way, within 12 years, it will be down to 1.5. And within 24 years, it will be reversed. 1 worker supporting 2 retirees. Now, you can say, don't touch my Medicare, don't touch my Social Security. You can say all of that, and that's fine. But when you look at those numbers, isn't there just a little bit of all of us that says, we got to change this a little bit. This can't work. It's sure, my youngest son Patrick's out there walking the dog. It's not going to be around for him. That's the big thing. And I'll be partisan. Everybody in Washington knows everything I just said to you. And so you've got 3 groups of people in Washington. You've got these House Republicans, you've got President Obama, and you've got the Senate Democrats. So we have a country that's broke, and we have these entitlements that are just on a path to kill us. So the president, or let's go to the Senate first, because they're easy. The Senate hasn't given us a budget in 3 years, a budget. So they don't even give us a budget to talk about the debt or Medicare. They don't count. If you're in the Senate, you should never get paid. So they don't even count. They don't have the courage to even give us a budget. Along comes the president, President Obama. Country's broke, Medicare is in crisis. What does he give us? He gives us a budget 3 months ago that never, ever, 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 ever balances. Never. That's leadership. He also gives us a budget that doesn't even talk about Medicare. So, along come these pesky House Republicans, the old Ryan plan. Here we come. We put forth a budget that says, budget's going to balance. We're going to put forth a budget that balances. And I wasn't happy with it. It doesn't say it's going to balance until for 28 years. Now, if the economy grows, it'll be sooner than that. But I wasn't happy with that. But remember what we're compared against. And those Republicans actually had the courage to say, all right, here's Medicare. I know it's gone in 10 years, so we're going to propose some reform. There it is. Some reform. And what happens? Right away, here comes the president and Tammy Duckworth and all the Democrats saying they want to end Medicare as we know it. You see what's wrong with our politics? Now, they may be right. Maybe because Republicans said we have to reform Medicare and Social Security over some, maybe we will get booted out of office. Maybe we will. Maybe there are enough people in this country who are going to say, nope, don't touch mine. Don't you dare. I don't care about the debt. I don't care. You know, some political strategists tell us quietly that senior citizens in this country, and I know that fits to nobody here, senior citizens in this country, some strategists say quietly, they don't care about future generations. Don't touch their Medicare now. Don't touch their Medicare. I don't believe that. You're 65, 68, 75 years old. Yeah, you should get what's coming to you. But I know you want it around for 30 or 40 years. I know you want your kids to have it, or your grandkids.
I just want them to have a decent standard of living. The way we're going, they won't even have that.
The way we're going, they won't have that. The way we're going, here's the world our kids and grandkids are looking at. If we don't make the tough decisions now, and I'm asking us to, Obama's not. So if we're not going to make the tough decisions now, 20 or 30 or 40 years, your kids and grandkids are going to be out there, great job, making a couple $100,000 a year, and 180,000 of that 200,000 is going to go to the government to pay for everything we didn't have the courage to deal with. And if you don't think I'm right, it wasn't that long ago, folks, back when President Eisenhower was president, that the wealthiest among us lived under a 70% tax rate. It's not just that. So that's the life they're looking at. They will become indentured servants. Almost every dollar they make will go to pay for government because we just didn't have the courage to deal with it now. I refuse to believe that.
You were just talking about the wealthy. What about the Bush tax cuts?
I like to call them the Bush tax raise because I never considered them a tax cut.
Okay.
But that shows my bias. So here's what you got, folks. Great question. Politicians are such chickens. So we basically extended everything for a year. So on December 31st this year, everything expires. The Bush tax rates, capital gains tax rate, the estate tax rate, the payroll tax cut expires, the dividend tax expires. If we let all these taxes expire on December 31st, it will be the largest tax increase in the history of this country. You talk about scaring the heck out of businessmen and women in this country, and a lot of us. So it's terrible that that's how we do things, that we extend things a year at a time or 2 years at a time. As far as the Bush tax rates, I mean, I've been pretty public. I'd extend them forever. That's not quite good enough for me. I don't like our tax code. In fact, I hate our tax code. We have a complicated, messy, stupid tax code. And for my Democrat friends in the audience who want to go after the wealthy, if you want the wealthy to pay their fair share, get rid of this tax code. Get rid of every loophole. Give me one simple flat tax, one simple tax. Get rid of all the loopholes, and you know what? You'll get the wealthy to pay more.
Now you're talking about taxes here. We got a company such as GE making billions in profits, paying zero in taxes.
But you know why? Do you know why, and I know why. It goes to this complicated, crazy tax code with a billion loopholes. So who wins with that? The GEs of the world, the big corporations. Why? Because they got the money to hire about 100 accountants and lawyers to find every loophole,